What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Before I go on my hiatus, I still have a lot of footage to try to catch up on, so that way I can leave this at peace before I come up with new ideas. So basically today we're going to be looking at how to make this soundscape, which is a combination of phase plant stuff, portal, the pitch shifter, and some reverb instances and all that. There's a couple of different options, but let's just go ahead and dive in right to the beginning so that way you guys can get on your way about making sounds kind of like this. The only thing that I am going to leave on is the limiter, just in case, but it's just on a basic setting of making sure that nothing peaks. I am boosting it, but this isn't really going to change the sound, it's just going to affect the volume, if that makes sense. Phase plant in a nutshell is really great because the modulators on there have some smooth random customization options that you can use, and we can really take advantage of that in such a way when trying to create something that sounds like a chord. So if I were to play a note on this, you can see that different notes and stuff kind of creep in that are still within like a main scale of this. So at the root note, we have basically just the sine wave, which is the first oscillator. Then on the second one, we have a wavetable that is creeping in via a randomizer at a second harmonic, and which is basically an octave up. So every once in a while, that will kind of creep in to add some cool, I guess, interest to the sound. I've also done the same thing with a wavetable here that's at a seventh. And then I have this little Foley layer that you can just go and download off freesound.org that has some different start length randomizations as well. The last thing that I've done is just added a filter, and from that point on, basically what's happening is at about a 16th or maybe 8 out of the 16th rate, which is 1/2, everything is kind of just creeping in at certain points. This stuff, you know, all the randomizations and all that aren't really important. It's more so that you have a few different oscillators that are set up to be like different, I guess, tones or whatever. You can do a third and a fifth, you can do a seventh, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. Just kind of like make sure that they don't all play at once. Allow them to kind of creep in and interact with each other. Once you kind of have that, I mean, really it's just a matter of creating different things that are going to help make that move. In this particular case, I've used 2 instances of portal. So the only thing that I'm doing in this one is stretching it a bit and then setting the density and size randomization up. There is some grain delay, so that sounds like this. But really in this case, if you have something that's kind of like a beat repeat that kind of slows down, or maybe you can set something to an LFO, then that would be perfectly fine instead of using this. The second one is doing a few more things. It's pretty much a carbon copy of the other one, except that the pitch is being randomized at a minor scale on this. So everything that's going to be within the minor scale of F, because that's our root note, is going to kind of jump around here and there. But I've changed the amount of randomization in this. Did also add an instance of reverb. So to help you guys out, if you don't have Porto, then you can use a couple instances of pitch shifter. And what I recommend actually is to duplicate this maybe once or twice. And the first one set to some random amount that's not the other one, and allow this just to kind of play around a bit. And then with this one, we have it set at -12. So this is going to be really important because when we start to mess with this as the mix, let me also turn this one off as well. We're going to get some really interesting results. That almost sounds like just as cool as this even, so that's pretty awesome. So basically, if you know how to explore a little bit, you can set some modulators up to this to kind of play around, and then really from there it's just kind of adding some reverb to it and allowing things to slowly move, because that's pretty much what soundscaping is anyways. So I'm going to turn these back on, and maybe I'll leave this on as well. The next thing that we have is an optional thing. It's an instance of trash that has some tape saturation going on to this, and then actually I don't even think that was on, I want to say. And then the main thing that we're doing here is actually adding a convolver. This is really cool. It's not quite a convolution reverb, but it does give a little bit of like, well, it's a convolver. So think of it as being able to replicate an impulse without the super large tail of what a reverb has. And the cool thing is that you can upload your own impulses if you have them, of say something of a real place like a cathedral or a cave or something, and then kind of mess with the mix on there. If you guys haven't messed with the Trash 2 Convolver, like, you really owe it to yourself to kind of mess around with that, because there's a lot of cool options that a lot of people haven't explored yet. So that sounds like this. turn that trash off. I didn't realize I wasn't using that. Sounds like cool metal stuff. So after that, we pretty much just added another instance of reverb to that. The filter is optional, where I'm just kind of sweeping a notch kind of randomly. And then if I want, we can also kind of have a delay on here where we automate the feedback on this. So altogether, these two options right here are pretty much doing the most work, I'd say, and we get some interesting results that kind of sound like this. Spooky soundscapes. So I hope that video was enjoyable to you guys. I had a lot of fun making this, and I'm working on some other things as well that we can kind of use to push the envelope of experimentation in context. And if you guys are interested in soundscapes and all these different kinds of things, I've got some granular ones called Ash that is available for $5. It's like 30 different basically loops or instances of these things that you can make. They don't quite sound like this because they're in another video that I'm going to cover in the future, but for now, hopefully this will be enough for you guys to play with, because you don't really, this isn't exclusive to any synth. It's just really understanding how to manipulate, I would say, tones, and then also how to break them. And having these kind of grain type things with these pitch shifters is a great way to do that, and Portal kind of has that ability to do it for us. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Check out my website. That helps me a lot right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video.